Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a hot minute. I'm totally not looking up right now what the command is to change someone else's avatar on stream avatars. How to change. Stream avatars. Good. Stack Attack is at least, like, a little bit better than fucking Wailord. Anyway, since that's been taken care of, how's everybody doing? It's been a while since I've streamed. I'm sorry to have left for so long. I did not mean to take such a long hiatus. And you might have noticed from the title of the stream, I'm not going to be working on commissions today. Since this is my first stream back, I just want to, like, come in, catch up a little bit, like, get comfy, streaming again, all that sort of stuff. But, like, man, has a lot happened since the last time I did a live stream. I do have a few things that I want to talk about, like, just for fun. So, recently, for one thing, I got, like, a ping. Like, I got added on Tumblr from someone asking about my Space Sonus history and stuff, like the design, and like they seem like so convinced that my Space Sona changing over time is a result of like lore stuff, as if I have lore for this design when it's just this is how I like to draw myself. And like, not only do I not really have much of an explanation for the way my Space Sona has changed over time, other than just like, you know, it's been years, I learn more about character design, I change how I look depending on, you know, what I like at any given point. And yeah, not only that, but like the person who like pinged me, I'm pretty sure I know who they are. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like this is the same person who about a month or so ago asked me if I would be willing to sing a duet of the song Easy from Hazbin Hotel with my Moirail Sierra. And I need you all to take that in for a second. A random person who I do not know was asking for me, a trans man who is aromantic, and my best friend, my platonic soulmate, who is asexual, to sing the sapphic lesbian sexy love song from Hazbin Hotel. And like, the reason I'm like kind of confused more so is because like at the time I told them like, dude, this isn't gonna happen, we're not romantically involved. And like after I told them that, within the same day, the dude like deleted his entire like Tumblr profile. Like hours after I told him we're not romantically involved, this dude deleted his entire like page. And now I guess all of a sudden he's back and like pinging me again as if nothing happened. So like double confusion, triple confusion, quadruple confusion, just confusion on top of confusion. And it's like, I don't know if that dude is watching this. They probably are, considering, like, you know, how, I guess, into me they seem. And, like, they've not only pinged me, they've pinged other creators on Tumblr for, like, weird stuff, too, including Roxas. And, like, I'm not 100% sure that's the same guy, but I feel like they may have, like, similar usernames and their mannerisms are the same. And so I'm just like, I have a pretty big hunch. But yeah, like, no, there's no big, special, like, story-driven reason that my Spacona has changed over the years. I just change it because I want to, and, you know, my artistic skills get better and better over the years, and it's almost like I change my Spacona to, like, keep up with that, you know? To reflect that. Yeah, if you had a nickel for every time someone deleted their Tumblr over you denying a question, you'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Don't be surprised if he responds to another post and says, "Why were you so mean to me on the vid?" It's like, I can actively imagine that happening, which is, like, for one thing, that's, like, why I'm not saying the username of who it is, but also one of the reasons that I'm not saying the username of who it is because I just can't be bothered. Like, I don't know them, so it's not really worth my time to remember some rando's username on the internet. It just doesn't, like, really make sense to me to remember stuff like that. But I sure do remember the fucking easy thing, and I don't think Sierra and I will be forgetting that anytime soon. 'Cause that was hecking weird. In other news, actually, I just saw your message, Chicks, who said, I can't help but be distracted by the background, by the way. Speaking of the background, that was actually going to be, my next talking point. Little sad note really quick, for those of you who didn't see my last video that I, put out explaining my absence, the reason that I was gone so long was primarily because, my cat Jet, passed away, and so that's why you're seeing him as a little apparition on my windowsill. But you may have noticed, on the bed, there is still a little black kitty sleeping. This is Orion. He is my new cat, and he's about 3 years old, and he is so wonderful. He's been here for a little over a month at this point, and he is quiet and affectionate, and he loves getting pets. He knows how to keep himself entertained, so that if I'm, for example, working on some art or something and I can't immediately, like, leave my computer to tend to his, like, zoomies and need to play, he knows how to play by himself, which I am genuinely impressed by. Where's he at the moment? Legit sleeping on my bed. Like, I'm not making this up. He's genuinely asleep on my bed right now. But, yeah, he likes to sleep in my bed when I'm not in my bed, and sometimes when I am in my bed. But he also, has a little cat bed next to my bed, IRL, and he enjoys curling up in that as well. He's got like a bunch of toys and stuff. He's healthy. I just took him to the vet just to like get him a checkup. They offered it like for free as part of like the shelter I adopted him from, and they looked him over and everything is looking good. He apparently used to have some ear mites, but he no longer has those, and they gave me like some free flea meds. He doesn't have any fleas, but it's just like, you know, prevention. But yeah, he's got like a clean bill of health. He is so sweet, and I am very happy to have him here. Yeah, life reflects art and art reflects life. I will tell him when I'll tell him that you guys say hi when he wakes up, but he is very much asleep. All right, just one moment. I'm just gonna use my inhaler real quick. I don't know if you guys knew this, but like I have mild asthma and it kind of acts up in the winter, and since I'm not used to like talking this much again, you know, it's been a while and I kind of have to get used to it again. So just gonna take a quick puff of the inhaler, but I'm gonna mute that for you guys real quick. So just one quick little sec. All right, inhaler's been taken. Let's see, how does he feel about the rest of your family? Is he also chill with them, or is he feisty? I mean, he's chill when they come over. I don't know if you forgot about this, but I live by myself. So yeah, it's literally just me and him in the apartment. Let's see, what else is there? Oh yeah, Christmas happened. How was everybody's Christmas? I had a pretty good one. As per usual, I spent it at my dad's place, and I got some good presents. I got a couple of Calvin and Hobbes comic books, which I'm always happy to get. I got a really cool watch. I want to see if I can start drawing my Sona with the watch, honestly. Let's see, what else was there? I got some really cute Christmas jammies. It's kind of a tradition in my family to get Christmas pajamas for the holiday. I think my favorite part though had to be Christmas dinner, just like, you know, the turkey and like sweet potatoes and, you know, green bean casserole, all that stuff. But my brother is kind of funny in that, like, he's kind of a big snacker, and my dad had gotten like all the ingredients for like, you know, Christmas dinner and stuff. One of which, if you're not aware, for green bean casserole is little fried onions that are meant to be dispersed throughout the casserole and also sprinkled on top for presentation. And my brother kind of ate all those onions, and so like Dad was all, "Where did all the onions go?" And you know, CD was like, "How many of them do you need for the green bean casserole? The whole box?" And we were like, "Yes!" It's just funny. It's so funny to me because, like, you know, he likes green beans. He clearly likes the fried onions. He's had, like, cream of mushroom soup and, like, whatever kind of stuff. he's had that like mixed into, rice and other things before. So clearly he also likes cream of mushroom soup as an ingredient. So it boggles my mind that he does not like green bean casserole, but will eat all of the ingredients separately. And this man, mind you, was for the longest time, was like unaware that he might have autism. And then he was like, gee, I wonder if there's a chance. And I'm like, a chance? I've never met anyone more likely to have autism. So yeah, thankfully though, fried onions, like the kind you put in green bean casserole, aren't that hard to whip up. So my dad cut some onions up and tossed them in flour, gave them a good fry. A bit too good because they actually came out a little bit burnt, but it was good enough for the casserole. So yeah, Christmas was good for me. I got plenty of, rest over the holidays. Didn't do much for New Year's either. Just kind of went on call with my friends and stuff, and greeted the new year just in a call with them. And I do gotta say, I'm really grateful. Ooh, thank you for the donation.
At the 10th Strasith donated €10. If we speaking about Christmas, I went to visit my aunt and had potato salad made by my aunt and it tasted like my grandma used to make. Almost cried NGL, but still. I also slept there for a night. Thumbs up emoji.
That is so nice whenever a loved one's recipes are able to be passed down through the family. I definitely want to ask my Nana if she can send me some of her favorite recipes. I know how to make her kind of deviled eggs and egg salad, which is my favorite way of having deviled eggs and egg salad. No other deviled eggs or egg salad are as good as when I make my grandma's recipe. I might share that in my Discord server sometime as well. So if you're not already there and you would like a good egg salad recipe, consider joining. We have a bunch of rooms for different topics, etc., etc. But yeah, I was just saying that I super appreciate all the online friends that I have. They're very comforting and supportive, and I love them to pieces. And I'm kind of hoping, though, that, one sec. There. I'm kind of hoping, though, that this year, I can try to make, some more real-life friends, because, obviously I don't want to go too deep into this, but, to make a long story short, one of my IRL friends is no longer my friend. We kind of broke off in November after a bit of a frankly confusing argument. Obviously, I'm not going to go too deep into that because I don't want to, be a downer or anything. But yeah, New Year's resolution for me is going to be to try to make some more real life friends. I just wish that my online friends were closer because I love them so much. Yeah, it's someone's name all your friends, and all my fingers start going up. I have to count over and over, and then they go, name your real life friends, and a single finger goes up. So that's not good. And I can't really justify, griping about it like, oh, woe is me, I wish I had more friends. And I'm like, no, I'm an adult. This is something that I need to take charge of. So I'm hoping that this year, I can start going to like local game events and like conventions and stuff. And I want to try to be more social there. And I don't know if any of y'all here are like, anyone who's watching is like in the Twin Cities area. But if you are, that would be cool to like meet up with you at a convention or something, or maybe during Pride Month when all the like Pride events are going on. That might be fun. But yeah, that's definitely a resolution of mine, is to make more friends. And there's also something else that I'm going to be trying this year. For my birthday, as far as like, internet stuff goes, I'm okay with like still having my birthday celebration be around my general like birthday time. But as far as real life goes, something that I've always wanted to try is, this might sound weird, but I've always wanted to try putting off my birthday by a couple of months. And the reason being is that, like, whenever I try to think of things in real life that I want to do for my birthday, the most fun things that I can think of are all things that are, like, summer focused. And my birthday being in early April and living in Minnesota, there's more often than not still snow on the ground. So I'm thinking, like, if I put off my birthday by, like, a couple of months, you can do that. Well, obviously I can't, put off the day I was born, but I can put off the celebration for a couple of months and then have it be, like, sometime in the summer. And I think it would be nice because, like, my apartment has a pool and I could just, like, either order some food or make some food and just, like, have the party then when it's, like, a more fun time of the year. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm definitely not the only one who does this, because I can imagine, especially, that there's probably a good number of people who, like, for example, are born on holidays, and so they don't exactly want to merge their birthday celebration with whatever holiday is going on at the time, and so they just pick another time of the year to celebrate their birthday. Obviously, you can't just forge paperwork and be like, actually, I was born in July. That's not how that works, but it's just the celebration. Plus, I feel like that way as well, with the Christmas money that I got from my relatives, and also the usual, like, birthday money that I get from relatives too, I feel like if I just save all of that and keep it aside until I decide it's a good time to celebrate my birthday, then I can have, like, a good bit of funds to spend on the celebration. You know what I'm saying? Some people get born on the 24th of December. Some people get born on the 25th of December. Some people get born on New Year's. I know that there's at least one person in my Discord server who was born on January 1st. I know that there's people who are like, my dad's dad, my grandfather, was born on Halloween, I'm pretty sure. And of course, there's people who are like, 4th of July and Easter, although Easter kind of changes, and so does Thanksgiving. But, like, that's another thing. My dad was actually born pretty close to Thanksgiving, and so, like, most of the time, we just end up celebrating his birthday on Thanksgiving because it's just easier that way. And it's like, we already have so much food for Thanksgiving And then it's like, but we're gonna have like so much food for Thanksgiving, it won't really make any sense to make a lot of food for Dad's birthday, and he prefers pies over cakes anyway, so let's just make Thanksgiving his birthday. And that's pretty much what we do every year. But I do try to acknowledge his birthday around Thanksgiving. And as for me, I was born the day after April Fool's Day, and that has only had negative impacts on my life. So I feel like putting off my birthday until sometime in like June or so, when it's nice and warm and sunny and I can have friends over and we can go swimming and stuff. Maybe even go to Valley Fair. Yeah, I feel like it would just be a more fun time to do that. Your friend's born on the day of April Fool's. Oof. That's the only thing worse than being born on April 2nd. But yeah, like, the birthday being put off, again, I only have that in mind for real life stuff. As far as internet stuff goes, like, you know, a birthday live stream and hanging out with friends and like a fan art contest and stuff like that, I still want to have that like happen around my actual birthday. I don't mind smaller celebrations for my birthday. It's just for real life purposes that I want to put it off. I feel like it makes sense. Yeah, being born on the 29th of February. Yeah, that would be tough because then it would be like, you know, you would turn 1 after 4 years. Doesn't your birthday get pushed to the 28th on non-leap years? I'm not sure. I don't know how that works. But yeah, that's just something I have on my mind for my birthday. Oh yeah, I mentioned this in my Discord server the other day. I've been starting to like get back into playing Stardew Valley, and you know, I was scrolling on TikTok, as you do, and I found, like, basically a post that was, like, you know, a bunch of popular mods that were being recommended to download. And a couple that I was considering downloading was an immersive weather mod, which made, like, you know, more weather cycles, and another one was cave weather, which gave, like, you know, special cave occurrences when you go mining and stuff. And I went to go download those, and I had to not download those because the guy who made them used AI for all of it. He used AI for the visuals and for the coding. How do you use AI for coding? That baffles me more than anything else. And he even used AI to, like, write the description of the dang mod. Bro couldn't even be bothered to describe it himself. And, like, he was being so uppity about it, like, in the, like, comments of it when people were expressing their disdain about it, because, like, you know, once you learn that a mod is made with AI, why would you want to use it? That's garbage. And I'm not even kidding, like, word for word, one of the things he said that, like, took me from being like, aw man, to, like, actually... something he said that took me from, oh man, to, like, actually screw you about this was verbatim, You don't have to be jealous if you don't have the skills and courage to do the same things I did. Skills and courage when he used AI and couldn't even be bothered to make the mod himself. All he did was, like, type a prompt into a thing and had it done for him. That's not his mod. That's made by a computer. And it was so disgusting. Like, using AI is already disgusting, but the way he was, like, defending himself and, like, getting angry at other users for, like, calling him out on this and being all, hey, that isn't cool. And he's just, like, making excuses over and over. Like, I saw one of the excuses that he had was, like, you know, he has, like, a time-consuming job or whatever, and I'm like, so does most of the population, and probably most of the modders that you see. But, like, you don't see them turning to AI, you see them learning to hone their craft and, like, doing the thing by hand. Yeah, that's exactly what he sounded like, Connor. No, it's not shitty. It took me hours to get the right prompt. And it's like, brother, you are disgusting. But yeah, I did end up, you know, commenting on the TikTok, letting the person who made the video know about that. And, like, they had no idea. And so they're, like, disavowing those mods now, and, like, they're gonna look a little more closely into the mods that they want to promote from now on, because they do not want to promote, you know, AI created mods like any sane person. Chick says, now I want to make my own mod the right way. Look what this info has caused. I want to mod now. That's how trash that guy is. Honestly, I say go for it. There's definitely a lot of, you know, modding resources out there online, like videos and tutorials, and probably even, like, coding guides and things like that. I've never made mods myself, but I may or may not have over 200 mods, not over 200, like almost 200. I have almost 200 mods on my copy of Stardew Valley, and I regret nothing. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, right. For anyone who's following the Troseeth blog on Tumblr, you've probably noticed that, like here, I've been kind of radio silent on that blog for a while, haven't been posting or even reblogging much there, but that isn't to say that I'm, like, you know, leaving it and I'm never gonna work on it again and yada yada yada. The opposite is true, as a matter of fact, because I have recently written down a sort of guideline of chapters that I want to write for my first Troseeth story, which is going to be, like, focused on Cyrus and, like, his background and, like, how his current status quo came to be. It's not going to focus on, like, the bad guys or anything and, like, trying to stop them. It's mostly just going to be, like, this is Cyrus, this is how he started living regularly after the destruction of his home planet. These are the people that he knows and his relationships with them, yada yada yada. And it's going to establish some of his, like, personal goals and things like that. So all I have right now is the outline. I am going to hopefully be starting to like work on writing the chapters in the coming weeks. And as for like where I'm going to publish them, I'm honestly mostly thinking that I want to put this on Archive of Our Own, just because like I feel like it would probably be the most reliable platform to post it on. I've never posted on it before, but as far as reading fanfics go, it's the site that I'm the most familiar with. I don't know much about like Wattpad or any of these other places where fanfics can go. And I'm aware that I could like just post them to Tumblr, but I don't really want to do that because Tumblr's layout isn't, in my opinion, the best for publishing archive fanfics on. So I'm thinking what I'm probably going to do is like I'm going to publish the works on Archive of Our Own, and I'm going to link to each chapter as they're posted on the Troseeth blog, and I want to try, I don't guarantee that I'm going to do this, but I want to try to do a piece of art for every chapter. So it's like they each have their own sort of like, you know, art cover. So that's the plan. And I'm also aware that I haven't posted that big drawing that I did of King Daetrich sitting on his throne. I haven't posted that to the Tumblr blog either, and I want to. I'm just debating, this is kind of silly, but I've been debating whether or not I want to post the version where he's got the little text bubble, or if I should just post the one without the text bubble and like make the title of the piece what he's supposed to be saying. So if y'all have a preference, I don't mind, but like this is something I've been stumped on for a while, embarrassingly so. But yeah, that's the current state of like Troseeth stuff. You'll probably remember I was also working on Adoptables, and they're not done yet. I kind of want to refine them a little bit more before I put them out, because like I looked back on them and like the design elements were there, I'll admit that, but I feel like I could stand to tweak them a little bit. Like there's just a few small things that I'm not happy about with them, so I'm going to like, you know, put that off for a little bit, and when they're done, I'll announce it on both the Tumblr blog and Discord, and if I can remember to do so, I'll make like, you know, a YouTube community post about it. But yeah, that's how that's going. And I'm also debating making merch, like nothing that's like too special, just like, you know, maybe designs of the main characters and like just putting them on my TeePublic for like, you know, stickers and shirts or whatever you want. I feel like if I were to like make little designs of the characters, theoretically, if you ordered them as like a pillow, you could like cut out the design from the pillowcase and like sew it together and stuff it in such a way that you would technically have a plushie. But obviously, like, you know, high-end plushies are not on the horizon for me right now. And I don't really see that happening anytime soon. I hope for it one day, but like, given how little people seem to be, spreading the word about Troceus, how long it's taking for them to, like, gain traction and stuff. I don't think that anything like that is going to happen, but hopefully, like, when I get the story going, maybe I can also start doing, like, dramatic readings and maybe pull in voice actors for, like, the different characters and stuff. But I'm hoping that, like, once that starts to get going, maybe the audience will build a little more. But if I'm being honest, I can't do it by myself. More than anything, I need word of mouth. I need for people to talk about it and, like, spread it to other people, all that sort of stuff. There was, somebody who, like, I don't want to say they do reviews of, like, original species and stuff, because, like, that's not what they want to label themselves as, but they talk about, open species a lot, and that tends to, create a bigger audience for some of those species. And at one point, I, like, reached out to them in the comments about, like, how I could potentially be featured, and, like, they gave me some guidelines and stuff about what to do, and so I worked to kind of, like, make the Tumblr blog and update everything and all that sort of stuff, and I want to try to get a hold of them again, but I don't know if they're open to that sort of thing anymore. I fear I might have taken too long. Hi, Happy. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, like, I fear that I may have lost an avenue of, like, getting more eyes on the Troceus. So I'm hoping that, like, if I just work on them some more this year, then hopefully it will, like, start to generate a bigger fan base. Alright, well, that was a long bit of talking. Really quick, I am going to... really quickly, I'm going to BRB, and then I'll come back and try to see if I can think of something to, like, work on artistically when I get back. So, enjoy some fan art in the meantime. I will be just a few minutes. And let me just find... Let's see... Ah, there they are. See, y'all lost your privileges. That's what you get. Y'all lost your Pokemon privileges for 10 minutes. Har har hardy har har. Anyway. So, another thing I've been working on, like, just trying to get back into the swing of things, is, working on some other merch designs. Like, as you can see, just kind of general space food. I've shared, some of this already in my Discord server, and, there's just a couple of food things left that I need to finish before I'm like ready to put these out on my TeePublic. And the ones that are left are like a space cake and space ramen. And honestly, I'm a little more stumped about how I'm going to color the space cake than I am about the ramen. So, odds are I'm going to work on the ramen today. I'm probably going to also pull up like all the other space food stuff, just so I have like, you know, a color palette to work with. So let me see if I can import those pictures. Let's see, open the image as a layer. Let's see, I think, yep, there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's open all 4 of those. Move them up. All right. And you can see what I've got so far is like the Saturn burger, space popsicle, pizza, and boba tea. I really love the boba tea. I feel like this one's going to be pretty popular, but I like all of them so far. Metabang on top, by the way? You mean like Metabang is cool, or like, oh, it's over the top of the Pokemon avatars? Because, like, if you're thinking that it's on top of the Pokemon avatars, it's not. I turned them off because y'all are grounded for like 7 more minutes because of all the Whale Lords. You lost your Pokemon privileges. But yeah, let's see what we can do as far as a palette for the ramen then. And I want to start with the bowl. I think I want the bowl to be like not an off-white, but like, honestly, maybe this kind of lavender down here would be a good fit. You use Metabang because of me? Oh, thanks. But yeah, let me grab those 2 colors. And don't know if I've ever, like, told this before, but like a general tip for anyone who's doing digital art and frequently suffers from the woe is me, my line art is on the same layer as my sketch, what will I ever do? I have a very easy fix for that. You see your sketch layer? Turn down the opacity. And that way, whenever you start like drawing on it, and you're like, hey, not only is this color lighter than what I selected, but it's also semi-transparent. Whoops, I must be on the wrong layer. Bloop. Literally 1 stroke is all it takes for you to, like, find out the difference. Alright, let's see now. Yeah, there may be a tiny bit of, like, lag, I suppose, as I'm drawing, because this is a very big canvas that I'm working with. I believe it's, like 3,000 by 3,000. And that's because merch sites like TeePublic generally ask for pretty big canvases. Just edit the bowl shape until I think it looks right. Yeah, I think this is a little better. Let's get a good curve there too. This tool definitely helps me with, like, making sure my curved lines are all smooth and stuff. If I just... There. And if anything isn't perfect, I can just adjust it until it is. Pretty good bowl, if I do say so myself. Not gonna lie, I would buy these space-themed foods at one of those Japanese cafes. Honestly, it would be so cool if there was, like, a space-themed food restaurant. Like, I know there's a pizza place here in Minnesota called Space Aliens, but the Space Alien part is more for, like, the general atmosphere than the food. So, not quite what I have in mind. Let's see. Ah, there's your timer. Now you can be ungrounded. Just change back from Whale Lord, please, Doki. Here we go. And I'm gonna keep this line on a separate layer because I want it to be a painted on decorative line and not, like, you know, part of the, like, bowl's physical thing. It's okay, Doki, just, like, no more of that. I think y'all forget sometimes who controls the stream. So, another thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate this part of the bowl so it can also be beneath the bigger part, because the food is going to need to overlap that part. Alright, so starting out, this is meant to be like slices of ham or something that looks like Jupiter almost. So I'm going to use the colors from this burger here because I feel like this is like, you know, generally ham colored. And it's okay if the lines don't perfectly match the sketch. Because frankly, these sketches were done like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. Man, Kate, you have a lot of Stardust. There's something you're saving up for? I don't think I have a redeem that, like, uses that much Stardust. Binging with Babish actually made bright blue noodles for a Star Wars dish. The noodles for this, I think I want them to, well, maybe I could make them blue. I'll have to see, how everything else looks. Because, like, I do want everything to still be appetizing. Alright, so there's the outlines for the ham. It looks like next I should focus on the eggs. And the eggs should be kind of off-white, so I think I'm gonna use this for the outline of the egg white, and let's see, that's not quite an egg yolk color. This is more of an egg yolk color. So I'll use this to outline the egg yolk. And you can see kind of that the egg yolks are at that point where they're kind of runny and gelatinous, but in like the best way possible. And so I'm trying to make like every sort of jelly food like full of constellations and stuff. So that's why there's so many stars in the egg yolks. Let's see. I can... Then here. Make sure those eggs are together. And next up are some carrots. And I've got a good orange here that I can work with. So I'll use this for the outline of the carrots. One question for the chat. What is the best ramen that you've ever had? because my favorite ramen that I've ever had was at a place called Ichido Ramen, which I believe is a chain restaurant. There's quite a few here in the Twin Cities, but they make their ramen in-house as far as I can tell. And the ingredients are always fresh, and it's so good and so warming, and really nothing like, the typical instant stuff that you find in the grocery stores. It was from this mom and pop shop. Oh my god, it was the best thing ever. It was a spicy miso ramen. Ooh. I'm not too big on spicy food, but I'm trying to be more into it. My spice tolerance is definitely a little bit higher now than it was when I was younger. But I'm still not used to, like, super spicy foods. Like, I can probably handle a medium okay. I didn't used to be able to. But, it's a process. One more carrot slice up here. I haven't had ramen. We got a pho restaurant in town. Super yummy broth with thin cut beef slices with noodles. I love pho. I think my favorite place to get pho is, like, you're not gonna believe me when I say this, but there's, like, a little college town not far from here called Dinkytown, and they have a pho shop and a boba shop right next to each other. And sometimes when I would go there, I would, like, get my boba first from the boba place and then go into the pho restaurant with the boba and just have that as my drink with the meal. But I think from now on I might forego the boba place, because I discovered that the little pho shop in Dinkytown has, like, a really good limeade, and it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like creamy and milky and sweet, but it has the texture of, like, shaved ice, and you can see little specks of like lime zest in there, and it's just delicious. And so I'm thinking I'm probably going to just keep that as my drink if I ever go back there. But it is a little bit further away now since I'm living in St. Paul, because, like, at my old place when I was in Minneapolis, I could basically walk to it. Dinkytown is a really funny name, I know, but it's true. It's an actual legitimate place. All right. So the next thing I need to outline is this. And for those of y'all who don't know what this is called, these are savory fish cakes called Naruto Maki. I'm not making that up. They are actually called Naruto Maki. And you might think fish cakes, ew, gross. And I'm like, just hear me out. Y'all like ground beef, right? What's ground beef? It's beef that's ground into a paste. You know what this stuff is? Pretty much white fish that's been ground into a paste, shaped and colored. That's all that it is. It's super cute, and it's good for you, and it's delicious, especially in ramen. So, that being said, I think for the Naruto Maki, I want the traditionally white part of it to be like a nice sky blue, and then the inside to be purple. So, yes, this kind of sky blue will be perfect, and I'll use the same purple for the spiral part. And that way it'll look like a galaxy, kind of. And yes, they do traditionally have these wavy edges. That's one of the more characteristic things about them. Again, I don't have to follow the sketch perfectly. Your sketch is your guideline. It shouldn't be the end-all be-all of like how you draw your piece. Like, oh, if it isn't exactly like the sketch, then I'm a failure and I've ruined it and I'm never going to be an artist. You're setting yourself up for disaster if you think like that. Y'all know the meme that's like, take it easy, dude, but take it? I've been seeing a variant of that going around where, like, they edited the words that he's saying. And he's like, draw it bad, dude, but draw it. No truer words have ever been said. And there's also been a saying going around that's like, you know, make it exist first. You can make it good later. And I feel like that's really good advice. Because, like, that's exactly what I've done with these space foods. I made them exist first. They've been on the back burner for a couple of years. And now I'm making them good. And I can't wait until all of them are done so I can put them in my shop, my TeePublic, so that people can buy them as stickers or t-shirts or whatever the hell they want. Alright, so what are we thinking for the color of the noodles? Because I still want the nori to be like a nice deep green. And I know what I want the chopsticks to be. So, given the colors of everything else, should I make the noodles regular colored? Or should I give them a different color? Will these become keychains at all in the future? I guess it'll depend on if TeePublic does keychains. light yellow and sparkly like stars. I do want to try to have maybe some of the broth visible too, and I want the broth to be kind of like, you know, the liquid in here or in here or something. So the contrast of yellow noodles with kind of nebulaic broth, that might work. I think I'll do that, actually. Grab the yellow from there. And I'm not too concerned about making the noodles realistic or anything. As you can see here, I just kind of did like semicircles inside of semicircles, but they translate into noodles. Quit. Don't quit. Noodles. Alright, I'm thinking what I'm going to do first is I'm going to establish each of the individual, like ramen groups, I suppose. I can get this right. There we go. And then, just so I don't have to worry about following the sketch too closely, I'm going to line them sans sketch. And you know, I shouldn't let myself worry about how even or uneven the noodles look, because again, noodles in real life tend to be uneven. So trying to make this perfect really isn't something that I should try to aim for. Matter of fact, if I make them kind of overlap like this, too. Maybe even do stuff like this. See, stuff like this, you shouldn't be too worried about making perfect. No art piece is perfect, and if anyone says that their art is perfect, they're probably an AI artist, which makes it worse. Alright, that looks pretty noodly to me. Now for the nori, I'm going to use the same color for outlining that I used... See, nori is usually pretty dark, so I think I'll color it with this color, actually, and I'll outline it with this lighter color. Because sometimes, whenever you're drawing something that's a little darker in color, if you outline it with something that's lighter, it helps it visually translate a little bit better. And I'm going to use kind of uneven movements as I'm drawing the nori, because if you've never seen like toasted nori strips before, they're kind of jagged on the edges. They don't have perfectly straight edges unless they're cut with scissors. But most of the time, they're just, torn, which gives them that jagged edge. Thank you. Finally, somebody acknowledges the alien Basil. Or Basil. However you pronounce it. Do you pronounce it Basil or Basil? Because I think I prefer Basil. Anyway, there's the nori done. Now, for the chopsticks, I had something kind of fun in mind, but I want to see if y'all will be able to figure it out. So just give me a quick moment while I pull up something on my phone. All right, and let's see. First things first, I'm actually going to outline these in black, and then I will change their color as I go. Give these nice and nice and perfect circles, everybody. 1 and 2. Whoops. I see that looking at the bottom. In order to make that crescent shape over there, just gonna move the circle over, and there's a moon. Yeah, sometimes, my art program, when it's kind of lagging, like I mentioned earlier, and I try to draw lines, it just kind of, does that every so often. But it's sparingly enough, and it's never, a detrimental mistake that I can't fix. Alright, so let's see. I'm gonna do a thick line up here. Then further down, probably about here. Do that. And then over here, let's see, what am I gonna do? See, over here, I think I'll make the line here. Straight line up. Shape there. I have to zoom in a little more. Da-da-da. Do it. You got it. I thought it would be nice to, like, just have a little reference as a treat. It's like, to anyone who doesn't know FNAF very well, these are just gonna look like generic Sun and Moon chopsticks. But those who know will know. Alright, now to color the outlines. I suppose I'll start with Moon's chopstick, because I've got his reference open right now. Let's see. Probably this is a base color. Just came back to consciousness and went, oh, Sun and Moon Pokemon, I need to be lobotomized. Everyone say it with me. Nerd! Love you, Kath. I feel like this is probably a good general color to start with for Sun's chopstick as well. Right, thinking. Well, if you're so sleepy and tired and stuff, go to bed. Go to bed. I have so many different yellows across all my space foods. Has everyone been enjoying the stream so far, by the way? I know I don't talk much when I'm drawing compared to when it's, like, actual talking time. But I do try my best to keep y'all entertained. Oh, bye, Connor. I hope you had a good time here. Let me see here. Now for the sun. Let's see, using your stream as background noise as I write one of my stories, using this for background noise while I draw. I'm glad I can be of some help. I hope that you'll share your works in the Discord server if you feel so inclined. Once they're done, of course. Sounds to me like I should probably replace my pen nib soon. My tablet nib, I mean. I've mentioned before that I'm a little bit picky when it comes to the nibs that I use. My favorite is one that's made of felt. It just feels nice. I think I'm gonna grab a different orange. Probably there. Use that for the sunbeams. We all just be doing creative stuff. Yep, it's almost like I've built up a community of artists. And I love this community so much. And I'm glad that our little community is like a calm, peaceful, and like, most importantly, I would say rational place. Like, over the course of my channel, there's never really been any like big dramas, I suppose. At least not, you know, like, dramas involving my friends or anything. Or me. This is gonna be the year I get canceled. Although I imagine plenty of people have in their minds already, like, quote-unquote canceled me over just being the person who created Percy and Springtrap. Let's be real. Those people are idiots. Alright, let me see. Forgot Percy and Springtrap existed. Yeah. I'm pretty glad that I, brought it to an end that I was satisfied with. And of course, Ruby being the new owner made sense to me. And it's like, I'm grateful for all the positive stuff that happened while I was in charge of Percy and Springtrap. But man, did the fans kind of weigh me down a bit. It's like I don't even know exactly how to describe it, because, like, both the stupid commenters and some of the positive fans made me feel kind of squicked out. I guess the reason for that would be, like, a lot of them, whether good or bad, just had this odd sense of entitlement. Like, I do definitely remember still that one commenter who was asking when part 8 was gonna come out the day that part 7 came out. And, like, just the way that they were so impatient and, like, seemingly unappreciative of what they'd already been given. Did not make me very happy. See, that looks like a little better for ham. But yeah, I'm glad that I let it go. Ham done. Yeah, I thought it made sense for the ham to look like Jupiter. Alrighty, eggs next. I'm being so for real. This is making me want ramen like crazy. Like the kind of ramen in the picture, obviously, not the instant stuff. Never seen carrot and ramen? They do that in Japan. I believe I've seen Cooking with Dog add it to, like, their ramen and, like, other similar soup recipes. So it's definitely a thing. Wonder, zooming in way in so I can get one of these in-between colors. Ooh, that might be a bit too dark. But I have an idea. That's better. The egg yolk. gonna make it the same color as the cheese from the patty. You really don't need much to convey certain textures. While I'm thinking about it, though... I do think that making all the little detailed parts of these space foods has been one of the most fun things about it for me. Alright. Thinking... Yes. With a little blur to it. And then can't forget like top shine. Danny. Oh, good night, Shards. Thank you for tuning into the stream. This is already looking delicious, and I've only colored in 2 of the foodstuffs. Alright, next up, the carrots. Get a good in-between color. Always good to hear Knight's music on my streams. You know, something I've always wanted to do with my friends, but I've been kind of shy about pursuing is, like Snapcube's live fan dubs of different Sonic games and stuff. I want to do one of those with my friends, but, with, Knight's Journey of Dreams. What do you consider as a complicated background for an art piece? Something like... How do I put this? It's like physical spaces, like a bedroom, or a landscape, or a kitchen, just like places. I'm not good with places. I'm okay with doing like, solid color backgrounds and like gradients, maybe like weird shapes in the background and stuff like that. But when it comes to things like, draw a field full of flowers with some trees and some mountains and like a dirt path, I'm like, slow down. Please have mercy on my soul. Alright, Naruto Maki is next. Here's the blue part. Now for the purple part. Bloop. Alright, next I want to color in the nori. Grab the color from there. Yeah, it's like, I don't mind doing backgrounds like that for my own personal pieces very much, because like, when I'm doing it for myself, I can kind of accept the flaws a little easier. Like, I don't need the bedroom background that I made to be perfect. I made a living room background, and I don't need that to be perfect. But when I'm doing it for other people, my perfectionism kind of kicks in, and it makes me worried. So it's literally easier if I'm drawing for other people to either just do a simple background or... How do I put this? Or if I can find like a photograph online that's free to use as a background, or like some free to use art that I can use as a background that I didn't do and they're okay with it, then that's what I do. I use that as the background instead. I'm willing to, like, do backgrounds and stuff for other people, of course, for the right price. Here we go. Fill in all the noodles. And now for the chopsticks. See, I wanted the red from pepperoni. Maybe I should go for the lighter red on it. Or an in-between color, like that. Just try it out. Yeah, that's better. This one. Would you take a commission for a character that has reference photos of a plush or figure? Sure. I would probably need more details, though, like if you wanted them drawn as their plush self or like an actualized character or something like that. Obviously, a lot of questions and stuff go into commission work. I hope that no matter how, like, I don't want to say popular, but I don't know how else to put it. I hope that no matter how popular I ever get, I never get the kind of commission client that, like, you know, when I'm asking questions about the piece, they just, like, go, "Why are you asking me so many questions? It's so annoying." And I'm just like, "Sir, this is an important step." Grab the same red from over there. At the very least, no matter how bad any commission client I get in the future might be, at least they won't be Star Giant Productions. I think I mentioned in one of my previous streams that, like, she was planning to come back. I'm sorry, he goes by he, him pronouns. But he was planning to come back apparently after his wedding, which was supposed to be this summer. But in recent news, from what I've seen, that wedding is no longer happening. The fiancé has, like, had her eyes opened about what Ryan is really like and has left him. So, big W there. Right now, let's see. Yeah, starting under the carrot line art, I'm going to see about adding some broth. If that motherfucker could pull, I can too. If that motherfucker can pull, I can too. True. Take this as a lesson to any of y'all who are looking for somebody to love. Yeah, like, I don't know how caught up y'all are on the Star Giant Productions lore, but the person who was previously engaged to Ryan was someone who was actually featured on like that 3-hour-long video that I mentioned that was like, you know, I'm a good person actually, etc., etc. And yeah, the person who was going to marry Ryan had testified about how, and remember, this was in the past, I don't think they stand by this anymore, but they were testifying about how, like, how sweet and understanding this person is, and like they've helped me, so much through like hard times, and they understand like social cues and things like that. And there was one aspect of their story that had like mixed reactions from folks. One of the reactions being like legitimate concern for her well-being, and one of the reactions being like laughter. Like apparently it became something of a joke on sites like probably Reddit and 4chan and stuff. But to make a long story short, it was a very, in my opinion, like unfortunate circumstance. Because like of all the people that she could have possibly had to rely on during such a horrible time of her life, it had to be Star Giant Productions. And that right there to me is just sad. But again, her eyes have been opened to the truth, and Ryan is once again single. So I guess that comeback ain't happening when he's getting married, huh? Hopefully this means that the comeback will never happen, at least publicly. But he has been coming back on like private accounts and like still making videos trying to justify himself. And being like, I never did anything bad, actually. If I did commission, probably add reference to how I draw them compared to the physical form to try to help. Yeah, any visual references are incredibly helpful. To whoever you're, like, commissioning, whether it's me or somebody else. Including visual references can only be good. So I highly encourage you to do that. Okay, let's see. Gently there. Thumb up there. Oh, I think I just heard a kitty yawn. Hey, buddy. Hey, Ryan, you've got some people who want to say hi to you. I'm gonna do a stretch. Yep, he is up and about now. Ep, ep, ep. He found a candy wrapper on the floor. he has a voracious appetite for plastic. So let me just pick this up real quick. There. Yeah, like, I don't know how much I can emphasize to y'all how hungry for plastic he can get. Because, like, one time recently, I got myself, what is it? I got myself, like, a juice box. And you know how the juice boxes come with, like, the little straw that's attached to it? I, unwrapped the straw and, held the wrapper out to him. And he not only, like, tried to swallow the damn thing in, like, one gulp, but he was actively, like, salivating over it. Like, he drooled on my bed. Funky concrete. Just gonna add a little extra texture to the nori. Yeah, that looks a little bit more like nori. All right, and let's see, I've been streaming for almost 2.5 hours, and I'm getting kind of tired and kind of hungry. So I'm thinking I'm going to stick a pin in this here. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and save this before I forget. And I'm going to go ahead and end stream. I will finish this ramen bowl on my own time, as well as the cake. I will let you all know when those are on my TeePublic and any future updates regarding my content, of course. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this, please be sure to leave a thumbs up, and please also leave a comment down below once comments are available to be left. That should be in less than 10 minutes, so just like, you know, after the stream officially ends, just refresh the page, scroll down, leave a comment. It's as easy as that, and I always give hearts to comments that are left within the first 24 hours. If you're not already subscribed, please be sure to do so. Consider becoming a stellar supporter. Join my Discord server. We have a bunch of fun times there, of course. And I will see you all in the next stream, hopefully this Thursday, when I finally get back to work on commissions. See y'all later. Peace out. And take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.